Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is another portfolio update video. So before we get started into this week, since I didn't make a video last week, I'll briefly go over last week. There's not a lot to cover really. You can see here that I lost about $100 and have already made it back, as you can see, for this week. So this week I made about $1,300. I also contributed about $300 into my 401k account, bringing it up to $23,000. So this week was pretty good, as you can see by the numbers, but also just overall, it was primarily because of Apple, Microsoft, 𝗦𝗨𝗦𝗍𝗬𝗓, and 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗑𝗑𝗧. We'll get to that in a bit, but it's great that I didn't jump too soon into 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗑𝗧 and stocks like 𝗦𝗨𝗍, because then I would have missed out on Apple, Microsoft, and 𝗦𝗨𝗦𝗍. I've had many instances in the past where I shift too soon into a new category, or I shift my allocations into a different set of companies, and then I either lose money or I wind up not making a lot of money because the other companies that I got rid of wind up going up. I'm sure a lot of you guys have ran into that, and I'm glad I didn't run into that this time. Anyways, overall, as you can see here, my total is $56,000 and 347 cents. No, that doesn't sound right. Sorry. We'll go with $56,000. That's really good. I have surpassed the expectation that I set out for myself. As you can see here, I'm 143% over my goal that I set out for in the beginning of the year, and I am continuing into the next year. I've already, set up a goal for next year, which I've modified since reaching $56,000 now. I want to hit $115,000 by the end of next year, and I am not quite 50% of the way there, but it's good to see that I am making progress to retirement. And this year has been really great, regardless of the pandemic and all the issues that were brought forth because of it. All in all, I am very grateful because, it could have been a horrible year, right? We could have lost all our gains from previous years, like what was pretty much the trend that we were seeing in February, March. But instead, we actually broke through, in some cases, the highs of some companies like Apple and Microsoft, I think, definitely Amazon, and that allowed a lot of people to make money through the pandemic, which is ultimately a very, very good thing, regardless if you are doing it for retirement or even now if you're just doing it to gain some passive income. Maybe you got laid off, but you're making money through the market. It's been a great year overall, and hopefully next year we see about the same level of returns. Anyway, so as you can see here, I am almost at $10,000 of gains that I've recorded at least, and I am, my weekly average is 367 now, which is way above my expectation or my goal. I wanted to make about $134 every week through the markets with all the accounts being considered, but now I am at 367, almost $400 average. I know the year's ending, but that's an amazing return rate. It is more than 25% because this $134 was at a 50% return rate. And I know I didn't record till June, as you guys can see here, and the big dip happened around February and March. But I am gonna say that probably I did make at least about $10,000 of returns, and that is definitely over the 25% that I set out to do. It's probably, I'll do some math at the year breakdown once the year is over, but I think it's going to be around either 30% or even 35% return for this year, which is amazing. I didn't think I would hit 35 to 30 to 35% return. I primarily started at 25% because I thought that was somewhat achievable, and if it wasn't achieved, if I don't achieve it, it wasn't a big deal as long as I hit near it, since the average is not really near 25%. It's not even near 20%. It's somewhere around like the mid-teens. But now, as you can see here, I got 30%, which Again, it was a really good year, all things considered, but that's also pretty good. Maybe I can hit 40% next year. And if I do, that would be amazing. If I just keep continuing to see growth as I've been seeing this year and hopefully next year, I just want to keep doing what I've been doing and consistently making more and more money, more increasing my returns, and ultimately retiring sooner than I would like. Anyways, enough of that. So as you can see here, week over week in my Robinhood, I made about $780, which is amazing. It's exactly a 5% return, which I thought was pretty funny. And as you can see here, I have been shifting from primarily tech, being Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, 𝗦𝗨𝗦𝗍𝗬𝗓, and TSM. And I actually stopped buying and I sold most, if not all, I don't quite remember, of my Amazon stock, and have still been buying into Apple, Microsoft, and 𝗦𝗨𝗦𝗍𝗬𝗓, as well as TSM. And I've been slowly buying into other sectors. So, for example, 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗑𝗧 is a new company that I've been moving my money to. I have previously invested in this ETF, but I moved to a primarily tech focus or tech centered portfolio, since that's really what I know. And also, I mean, this year tech has been going increasing. It's been amazing how tech has been booming this year. I think, I mean, we can go into Apple, which is probably one of the weakest performing this year. I think Amazon really knocked it out compared to Apple and Microsoft. But I mean, you can see here 82% return in 1 year through a pandemic. That is crazy. And I know why, right? Pandemic, people are at home using electronics. Of course, it's going to go up. But I mean, 82%, that is crazy. I mean, crazy. And that's why, I mean, I just kept buying into tech because I wanted to keep going with the hype. And now that I am seeing other companies kind of going up while tech has been kind of stagnating for a bit, I'm kind of shifting into these stocks that I see potential in. And this week, 𝗦𝗧𝗧 did not disappoint. It was above 5% return, which is really good. And it primarily happened on Friday. I don't know what happened here, but I'm not complaining. It just jumped dramatically Friday evening. No idea what happened. If that didn't happen, it would have been pretty flat all week. But yeah, let me know if you know what happened. That's pretty crazy. Moving on to Apple here, as you can see, it's still no slouch. It went up about 3%. This week was a pretty good week for Apple. From what I've seen, it was because they themselves have said that the new iPhones have been selling pretty well. They have been selling more phones than they thought they would sell. Also, they released a new pair of headphones. So overall, I think those things combined have pushed Apple this week. We can see that with the 3 months now. This is what I've been kind of referencing, where I've seen like Apple and tech in general kind of stagnating. Now we can see that it's kind of breaking out of this pattern. We can see here that it's kind of breaking out. And again, I don't do technical analysis. I just like looking at the charts, not drawing weird triangles like these tech analysis people, but you can kind of see patterns, right? I mean, you can see that a stock is going up and think, well, if it's going up, it's going to keep going up. If it's sideways, it's going to probably keep going sideways. If it's going down, it's probably going to keep going down. We're humans, we kind of naturally see these patterns, and I just kind of go with it. Now, if we go into Microsoft here, it's still kind of stagnant, but I mean, at least this week it was up 2%, which is pretty good. I think it's been oscillating between like 210 and 220. So I think we're still kind of like, if I'm still at least kind of iffy on Microsoft, but at least I think I sold everything that I owned this week of Microsoft, and then I again started rebuying back into it. So I made some profit this week, and now am in the process of just buying back into it. And finally, 𝗦𝗨𝗦𝗍𝗬𝗓 was also pretty good this week. I think it's the least performing out of the 4 stocks that I picked this week. But I mean, 2.6% return is still not that bad. And it's also at 200 now. I don't I don't know if you guys have been following C Limited, but this company is like amazing. This year alone is crazy. I mean, you can see here 430% return. I remember a year ago when this company was like $50, and then during the pandemic it did actually go down. It might have not been 50 now that I think about it, but during the pandemic it was a steal. I mean, it went down to like $30 from like either 40 or $50, and now it's $200. That's $170 per share if you bought it at $30. That is crazy. And I don't know exactly what will happen with this company, but I mean, if they just continue doing what they're doing and more investors kind of take notice. I don't know how, if a lot of people do trade this company, but if not, then we have the potential of people discovering it and pumping up the stock even further, which is pretty insane. I mean, I honestly, I don't know if we're gonna go down or just keep going another 500% up. I don't know what's gonna happen with this stock, but I love this stock just because it's so crazy and because I saw it at such a low price point, and now seeing it here at 200, it's pretty, it's like my baby, you know. Even I didn't discover it by any means, but it's still like seeing it grow. This is the first company I've seen grow from like nothing to something, you know. So it's pretty funny to see. Also here we can see that the volume isn't that high. It's about 4 million, and if you compare it to like Microsoft, which is 32 million, and then Apple I think is 100 million. Yeah, 100 million. So I mean, it's still relatively untraded, I guess, but hopefully we can see more amazing returns by this company, and maybe it goes up by like 500 more percent. I don't know, I'm just hoping here. But anyways, that's where I'm ending it. Let me know down below if you've invested in C Limited at all. I'm interested to see, because about a year ago I didn't hear anyone mention it, but now I'm actually seeing people mentioning it on Wall Street Bets and on other stock-centered Reddit forums. I hope you guys have a good Christmas, and I'm not very cultured, and so I don't know if there's any other holidays, but I hope you have a good holiday if it's happening between now and next week. And I really hope you guys are having a good year, even though the virus did slow down not even returns in the stock market, but also life in general. Hope you guys had a good year, even through all that BS, and made some money. All right, guys. See ya.